Well, hello everybody. It's Dave, your guy for politics, or your go-to guy for politics. I want to tell you first where I am. This behind me is Lake Huron, Michigan. So we are up north in Pure, Michigan. Beautiful spot. My friend Julie says she lives near the Pacific Ocean. She says this is like the ocean without the smell. It's beautiful. The water is crystal clear. So here we are back again, and we are beginning with the Democratic Convention this week. We finished up the Republican Convention last week, and so I'm going to just do a little review of what happened last week, and then we go into this week and see what happens next. So we started with Mrs. Trump, Melania, and she gave a speech, and we all know now about the speech, and so I'm really not going to dwell on it too much, except to paraphrase her husband and say, after all, she was not born in this country. And so, that's one. Next, we saw his children. And they did a great job of just representing him so well. They spoke so highly of their dad. Any dad would be glad to have those accolades thrown at them. But, funny thing, he's also their boss. He's their employer. So, you got to kind of ask a little bit, how biased this whole thing was and how required it was. If your boss says, I'm going to run for president, I want you to come and say nice things about me, well, enough said. Ted Cruz spoke. Ted Cruz, we remember Ted Cruz, he was the second highest vote getter during the convention. He was the one that a lot of people wanted to be the nominee. And he came after saying he wouldn't come to speak, and he came to speak, and he stood up. And he was Ted Cruz. Enough said, right? A zero-sum game. And then the excitement really began. The vice presidential nominee, Mike Pence, governor of Indiana, came to speak. And Mike Pence was just, oh my gosh, Mike Pence was just he was so white. He was white. And then my favorite part of the whole thing was when the firebrand preacher came out to speak and rile the crowds. Mark Burns. He was incredible. I mean, you'd want to be in the church when he was preaching. And he was saying things and then telling the crowd to shout it out, shout it out, shout it out. And of course, there was no shout. And you looked at the audience, and this waspy-looking audience, and they were looking at each other like, well, I don't know, who's going to go first? It was too funny. And then, and so, thematically, the convention went through several different themes. So they started with, let's make America great again, which we've all heard. And then they switched to let's make America work again. Very good. Nice. And then they ended with let's make America one again. Also a nice theme. And I would like to follow this up with a final theme for the GOP party as they go into the election. And I'm going to say this in Spanish first. I'm going to read it. Hacer de Estados Unidos una vez más blanco. And for those of you like me who don't speak Spanish, and forgive me if you do, that means let's make America white again. That's it for me for now. I'm going back on vacation. I'll see you next time.